5. Let's get this in position. Check on our progress on some of these. Oh, we should probably replace the water. Probably should have done that before starting it. Be right back. All right. So let's review what we need to do today. So we got the white armor pretty much painted up. The next thing we need to focus on is the black of the armor and the red. So what I need to mix up right now is a blend of blue, 1 part blue, 2 part black, or something of that ratio, if not 3 part black if necessary. So we shall grab our black here. Looking a bit off, not gonna lie though. Maybe the palette's a bit too wet. That's fine. I'll just add a bit more paint, right? I want to mix it. I think I want to use a different brush for mixing. Hmm. Maybe just a bit more blue. Mm, bit. Okay. Actually, I want it a bit more thin. Yo, Spammy, welcome, welcome. Doing good, man. Had a pretty much chill day at work and had a nice workout this afternoon. And now, finally chilling out and getting to work on this. So now we're working on the black leather. Bro, I needed it. It's a good way to de-stress and unwind from work. And it is helping me because I am trying to lose weight because I am like 30 kilos overweight. Yeah, yeah. So now we're focusing on the leather. Ah, I feel like the blue's not working it for me though. I don't know. I think it is. But we'll see once the rest of the model is painted and then we'll see what the effect is like. I feel like the blue is working. I made a mix of black and dark blue. So we still get that black, but not actually black. That way it does not like fully encapsulate the model in black. Or at least the parts that are I want to express more. Again, we will have to see how that effect pulls through. Hopefully, yeah. It's gonna be a full 3 hours of just painting. Painting and listening to fantastic, like epic music and soundtracks. Excuse me. Hiccups. Mm, okay. Decided to go straight to the source because what I was getting, the puddle I was getting from was way too thin. So it was not getting the effect that I wanted or the thickness of paint that I wanted. Okay. This one's an interesting one because only this part is going to be colored black. Why do I have... Oh, I see. That's why. Yo, Jojo, welcome to the stream. I'm sorry for having looking now. Been locking in and making sure that I'm doing a okay job at getting these parts what I want colored in. How you doing, man? Bro, their vehicles are crazy. I was super tempted, I saw when I was in an LGS last week, I was super tempted. I saw the what was it called again? The organ tank, the one that fires missiles from the organ pipes. I forget. I keep forgetting. I don't know why I keep forgetting. I shouldn't forget. I was looking straight at the face. I was just like, I was so tempted to just splurge a little more just to get that thing. But I said no, no. I'm gonna settle. I'm gonna settle for a Commissar Yarrick and Captain Titus with Wardens of Ultramar. I'm good. No, not the Castigator. Was it a Castigator? No, Castigator is not the one. Was it a Vindicator? No, 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 not a Vindicator either. Vindicator is Lehman Russ variant, I think. Uh, Depta, Storitas, uh, tank. organ. The Exorcist. The Exorcist tank. That's what I. That's what I saw. I was just like, I want to get it. I want to get it. Ah. Torture. Pure torture. Just staring down at the shelf, looking at that castigator, and trying to like, I want to conserve money. Night Tyrant. Well, let me have a look at what that one is. I have. I believe that's a. Yeah. I knew it was a knight, but I didn't realize it was a chaos knight. But dude, that's dope. Oh, this is not the shade I wanted. This is more blue than black. Hold up. Do a bit of cleanup here. Okay, I'm gonna let this model dry because actually I'll target the rest of the model here. So there's some parts here I want a bit more shaded. I want to have a look at the Night Tyrant's like weaponry really quick. Data card. Well, I imagine you have a lot of shooting with that thing. Yeah, you got so many range weapons on that thing. Volcano lands, dark flame cannons, ectoplasma and decimators, Geist strike missile launcher, twin demon breath melta guns, twin desecrator cannons, and a warp shock harpoon. 70-inch. Infernal Aegis. Okay, has a war dog. Okay, corrupt bastion of corruption. Enemy units that are set up on the battlefield reinforced can't be set up within 12 feet of this model. Oh, okay, that's actually cool. Yeah, and you can use all of the weapons that I just mentioned as well. D3. If it attacks D3, you have to hold up. I don't. I'm not. I'm very new to the army game because I normally play kill team, so I'm trying to remember all the like what do the letters mean above because I know A is attack, BS believe is ballistic save if I'm not mistaken. AP damage, so armor piercing. Ballistic skill. Okay. Flamer. Flamer. Was there a flamer? Hold on. Workshop harpoon. Yes, I see that. It has devastating wounds too. Blast, devastating wounds. Where is the flamer? Ah, the dark flame cannon. There it is. Let me pull up chat again. Using those weapons specifically on my friend because he uses Space Marines and his jump back. Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. By the way, Jojo, if I don't know if you've ever tried, but do you, or sorry, I should ask, have you tried playing Kill Team before? Because that's the, I asked because that's what I mostly play with my friends, unfortunately. As much as I like to actually play full 40k, my only issue is that I don't have the budget. And most of my budget went into collecting certain not like certain characters that I wanted to get. I almost did. I almost technically did build an army. Because I was trying to collect all of the different types of marines for my Space Marine 2 inspired squad for Kill Team. So I had bought a box of intercessors, a box of jump pack intercessors, a box of eliminators, a box of jump pack intercessors, and a box of heavy intercessors, and a box of blade guard veterans, and a dreadnought, and Lieutenant Titus, and Marnius Calgar, and a Primaris chaplain, specifically to just gather much of the Space Marine 2 cast as I can. The only one character that I was unable to really like collect was the Captain in Phobos armor, which sucked. Because the Captain in Phobos armor is the only one I was missing. Because that would be Captain Akaran. In fact, Captain Akaran as a character in the Space Marine 2 is his model is based off the actual miniature. In fact, a lot of if there's that scene in Space Marine 2, fun fact, if you pay attention to the final few scenes on the ship while you're on the ship, you'll notice there's like a whole gathering of because it's in the spaceport or at least the launch bay. In the launch bay, you will find a whole battalion of Marines being briefed on their final mission on I forgot the name of the planet. It was a graveyard planet. And if you actually take into account all of the forces that are on the platform below you, you'll find out that it's actually a 2 point army, a 2,000 point army. Hey, Cat, welcome, welcome. Nice of you to bust right in. You're getting right at work right now, coloring up the cloth parts of their armor. Using a nice blend of black and blue. My favorite soundtrack is from Mechanicus 1. I know there's a second game. I didn't get it. I'll get it one day. I didn't even play the first Mechanicus. I probably should. One of these days, I should. All right, that's another color done. Now we move on to a bit of red. I hope my corn red's still alive. Yes, it is. Let's go. Perfect. Now we just mix a little bit of black. To get this nice purplish red. Then we go straight underneath the cloth here. Oh, dang. Okay. Easily corrected. Okay. I need a better brush for this. Not too much. Yo yo Zurich, welcome. How's your day go or how's your morning going? Yeah, I did. Sorry, I wasn't able to chat much in your stream last night. Work got a little busy, unfortunately. But I did see you were trying to attempt your Savage Omega solo. And gosh darn it, I hit the leg. Gosh darn it, I did not know that it missed. There we go. Fixed it. At least for the most part. Like bro, when I came into the stream, you were just getting bullied by the smaller bot for the most part. You couldn't get past the damage check because the bot just kept knocking you down. Like cat was here earlier, just bust down the door with her emote and then didn't say a thing afterwards. So mean. She only here to see the girls, that's all. She didn't want to chat. Hey Hans. Welcome, welcome. Doing good. Getting the third color in, or at least the base color for this section. Because I'm now coloring the under part of the cloth, which is going to take a couple colors. First off is this crimson red that we're trying to get the under parts of the model. Nice, nice. Yeah, you do that, dude. Life do be busy. Yeah, I was on Marvels. It was okay. Didn't well, of course, like you get the good games and you get the ones that just like mm. Hold on. I don't know about this team, man. Nobody wants to like fill in the roles, and even when they do fill in the roles, they're not very good at it. Oh well, we try our best. We do the best we can. To be like that. Okay. Sometimes you get the games where all your teammates are cooperating. Yeah, pretty much roll with the punches. Funny you say that because I play the thing. All I do is punch. Okay. Probably gonna have another chill day at work, and then we will be back on painting again without any worries. Because once I commit to something, I don't want to leave it till I finish it. Once I've started this painting project, I don't want to leave it unfinished. Because it'll haunt my dreams. That's all I will be thinking about. It's like, should I use this color? Yeah, I should have used this color instead. I don't want to get paint on the armor there on that side. So I'll take my thinner brush. Yep, loaded. And let's get our magnifying glass. Will not be able to get into the back side there. What up? What up, Thor? Welcome, welcome. It's going good, man. We are trying to color in the inner part of the model, but I will not be able to get into the back there, unfortunately, so I'm just not gonna bother. So we will continue painting the rest of this. Oh, sec. Need to be sure the paintbrush was dried up before we went in. All right, let's put this magnifying glass. We're good. Get to this part here. Okay. Now get to this. And then after this layer, we're going to switch over to a much brighter red so we can start doing those areas where the light is supposed to shine on the cloth, or at least where the areas where it's much more exposed. So I needed a base. Hans, I think you might be confusing him for Caesar, right? That's Tsar, as in the Russian leader, the old from an old like government. At least what the how old Russian ruler Tsar. Yeah, you're thinking about Caesar. Every time I see his name, I can only think of one thing, and just that's just screaming Caesar. If you know, you know. If you don't know what I mean, You need to go watch JoJo, the second season of JoJo. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Also, welcome James. Welcome to the stream. How's your morning looking? Oh, it's evening. Interesting. I'm not putting too much effort when it comes to underneath the cloth here because who really is gonna pick up a model and do that? Look underneath, like, bruh. Look at it. I'm imagining how a person would look at it on the tabletop. Where are they gonna be looking? Mostly anywhere that's visible within a planar level. Like they're holding it in their hand like this. They're gonna be looking at it like this, like or in the case of the camera, they're gonna be looking at it like that directly. They are not gonna just, oh look, let's look at what's under the skirt, bruh. You don't do that. Nobody, normal people don't do that. Not cool. I need my magnifying glass again to hit those spots. There we go. Shoot. Ah, drop my brush. I think this is the last one, and then we can go on to the brighter red. Yeah. I do have Darktide and Vermintide, by the way. So at any point, I can always schedule, like, on my secret Sundays. I can always play any of those games. But I don't know. I'm still thinking of going back to on Space Marine 2 again for Secret Sundays. Okay. By getting into Warhammer, well, in what aspect? The tabletop, the video games, the media, the lore? Because I would like a great introduction into the thematic and like something that will help you understand the tone of the setting. The first thing you wanna experience is watching the fan animation called Astartes. I'll put it out. Now, the animation itself was supposedly taken down, quote unquote, but people have re uploaded the video multiple times, so you can always find it somewhere. And that is a great, like, very short series of videos to watch to sort of get yourself introduced into the setting, basically. And then video game wise, you can actually jump into Space Marine 2 right off the bat. Yeah, I know he got picked up, and he was the one who made the secret level episode, or at least I think he directed it for a lot of. So I'm not also surprised. I'm pretty sure he did the and that is another piece of media that you should be interested in order to get into the universe, or at least into scale learning about Space Marines and stuff. Just a little bit. It's just a little view on, like, just how powerful Space Marines are is through Astartes and the secret level episode. But if you want context, if you want more like introduction to the lore, Space Marine 2 actually gets you that, sort of, in a way, right? And if you want to dig even deeper, then you start like looking up lore videos and stuff, learning about the factions. I would highly, in order to make it more the like base lore more digestible, I highly recommend Bricky's videos. Bricky has basically sort of toned down version of all the lore. Now, okay, since you mentioned about the painting, here is a rule that I usually follow. Now, I do have this little gadget, which is basically the model holder. But in case, like, okay, I don't have access to a lot of things, you can use your hands I want you to hold, you can hold the model on your left hand, and with a paintbrush, you can press your wrists together and just use your fingers to control your strokes. So that's how I was able to combat my own unsteady hands. Is to give my look for a position that is highly comfortable where the hand doesn't shake. Because tendency is people when they paint, they freehand it. So what happens? Especially when you've drank coffee, your heart rate is up. So your when your heart rate is up, and that means lots of the blood is flowing really fast. So that means that's more likely that your hand starts quivering because of that, right? So tendency is that, like, first off, I that's why I'm painting in the evening, because that's when my heart rate is at its lowest, and I don't engage in any games or activities that raise it before painting. So then I steady myself, find a position that's good, that I feel comfortable. I even have to sometimes, if the paint is dry enough, then I can just make contact like this. So my hand is very steady. Just simply control using the fingers. I don't have to worry about like say I'm going into for the eyes, right? It's really about learning different ways. Like getting into a hobby is not just like, oh, I'll buy the stuff and then I just jump in. No. Before I even started painting or doing any of this stuff, I actually, there we go. Oh, maybe a little higher so you get to see my bald head. Before I got into even so much as buying models, what I did was I did a lot of research getting into the hobby. I've talked to a lot of people who do paint. I know some, even way before I was in college, the person that I was like talking to, I said the exact same thing. I'm afraid to get into the hobby because my hands are unsteady. I know my hands are unsteady. Then he taught me the wrist trick. And then later on, when I actually started getting into the models themselves, I used the wrist trick. I didn't have to worry about steady hands. Bro, I play Marvels. I have dinner, then I do the painting. So I'm like, I could be halfway through a food coma right now. And then the painting really just sets my, like, the hormone that puts you to sleep into overdrive. And then when I reach the end of stream, I'm like, I need to go to bed. Okay. So now that that's done, okay, let's go to our brighter red color. Go to vermilion. Let me see if I have any brighter colors. I don't think so. I think I have a brighter red than that. I think this is the best red I can use. When it comes to any skill, or like when you're getting into a new game and you have no idea what it is, your first step really is to actually do research. To actually look into how everything works, basic to a sort of basic level, understand what you're going to be attempting to do before actually jumping in. That way you're not always blindsided by everything. It's like, oh man, he can do this. Oh man, he can do that. I didn't know that. Why didn't I know that? Research. Look up, like, in the case of like, let's put it in context with the models. Okay, what kind of brushes should I use? Do I have to use the most special brushes? No, I could just find like I can start off with just some basic brushes I can find in an art store. Cool. I can maybe snip a little bit of hair maybe or something like that. Some people improvise, and that's exactly what I did with for the most part with a lot of the projects I worked with. Okay, I want to actually mix a little bit of vermilion, or sorry, corn red with this vermilion because it's a bit too bright for my taste. I want a little bit of something in between. I think my brush is too wet. Gotta dry the brush a bit because what I don't want. Okay, so one thing you should know about paint is that depending on how thin it is, because sometimes when you add water to the mix, you basically dilute it and thin it out. And sometimes when it's too thin, what tends to happen is the paint starts to like gather in places. Sometimes it'll gather in one spot because of the what do you call that? Surface tension. So it tends to just gather up because of what the water mix. And tendency is that it slips into these small, very tiny. I don't know if we can zoom in with these tiny little details, these tiny little gaps, like the buttonholes here on the sister here. So I don't want those things filled up with paint as much as possible because it's gonna be a miss on the detail. So what I do is I try to not make sure that the paint is not too thin and my brush is not too wet. So I actually have a piece of I have a cloth here, a dry cloth that I can rub the brush against to try and get rid of some of the moisture. And then when we're ready, take a little bit onto the tip of the brush and then just slowly go at it. Now I'm not gonna color every single thing, but because we already had a layer of red, we just wanna get to where light start tends to shine off, right? Because we want to emphasize that this under part of the cloth is actually red, not just black. Okay? Again, not putting too much effort into getting to those little details, but just want to be sure to get that. I could be wrong about using the term surface tension. I just forget sometimes on what the actual term is. So if you already know what I mean, you can probably tell me the correct word. What is the emote, man? I believe the soundtrack you are now listening to is from the first Space Marine game. Also, it's like that was peak Warhammer back in 2012, and we waited No, it was 2010, wasn't it? And no, it's 2015. 2015. That was peak Warhammer in 2015, and we waited 10 years for the second game to come out because the original studio that made the Space Marine game had closed down. Yeah, there's your fun fact. Your fun fact, another fun fact of the evening. Wait. That is actually hilarious. I remember the days where I was like really hard into streaming. I had made emotes and stuff. I made pixel art emotes, and they weren't great, to be honest. That was when I first started trying out doing pixel art. I was still experimenting with the medium, but it didn't pop off, unfortunately. I still do use um my old avatar as my Discord Mugi or Fugi. I think that's what it's called. So if ever I'm on somebody's stream and they have Fugis on, chances are if I'm in the VC with them, you'll see that old penguin with a fedora and a bow tie. That used to be my VTuber avatar back in the day. I've since like abandoned that whole shtick. Just decided, yeah, I'm just a face cam. Really no point in me doing the whole VTuber thing. Yeah, man. I mean, if I remember, Flux actually has Fugis activated on his stream. So like if you go back to Flux's old or his VODs, if he has VODs enabled, you can actually find like when we do customs, you can find me there. You can find that penguin there. Everyone's focused on the painting, man. Everything tends to be like that. Like, I have not heard from Kat all of a sudden. She just busted it. She just came in, bust down the door, and left. Man, not cool, Kat. Not cool. What if I actually did this as well? Just to, oh no. James, are you looking for models? I'm just like, no. I imagine it. Got that conversation going. Totally not getting my first like Space Marine squad to try and paint. Mm. Oh, you collect Gunpla. Okay, that's just as good. You're into the other kind of plastic crack. I went to um I went to Japan and I went to the Gundam base there. I saw the latest at the time when I at the year when I went to the Gundam base. I saw the latest winner of the Gundam contest, like how they did their like kit bash and stuff. Oh man, that was nuts. That was nuts. I wish I took a picture and like immortalize it. Hey yo, Goosely, what's up, dude? We are knee deep in our painting efforts right now. Trying to get some details done. I may have made a little mistake on the cloth here, but hopefully I can still erase it. I don't think so. That's fine. I can always correct it later on. All right, I can go back and paint that over later on. Okay, so ooh, good thing it didn't drop in the paint, so we're good. Yeah, not just customized. They make like it's almost like they make full sculptures out of different gunpla kits. We are about I'd say 20% in. This is only 20%. We only got the base color for the armor, a little bit of like shading here and there. Then we painted up the black cloth here, but we are now going after the red into the inner parts of the cloth. So we are still long ways away from saying that this set is complete. Man, I love the Mechanicus soundtrack. It's so good, dude. So good. Oh, that sounds good, man. I hope you have fun. I had a lot of fun. I went to Japan twice. One was in Tokyo. We hung out in Tokyo. The second trip was in Osaka. Maybe someday find some place that we can meet up. Probably not Japan though. I don't know. It really depends because we usually go in October when like the weather's a little chiller. Not May. Summer is hot. We already have enough heat here in the Philippines. The last place we want to go to is Japan in the summer. Oh, Germ. Oh wow. I only funny enough when I went to Europe, when I went on my Euro trip back in 2024, only visited Germany for a day. Only because like we were at the tri border. The tri border is where Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands uh meet each other. So we were planning to go to a thrift like sort of because they have thrift markets in the weekends, and we were supposed to go to one that was in Maastricht, in the Netherlands, and then we proceeded to Belgium. But unfortunately, the weather was bad, and no like no market stalls were set up because of the weather. So instead of like sitting on our butts all day, that the next day, we decided why not just go take a trip to Germany just for one day. We go to Germany, and we went and bought a bunch of stuff. Like we saw some nice shops or like nice stalls that were set up there. Because we went on a day where they were setting up all these stalls. But for the most part, like I when I went to Europe, I spent a lot of my time in museums, art museums. Helped me get inspired into the painting thing, understand how they work their brushstrokes and all that. It was super interesting, and I saw like some of the most interesting displays in the many museums. The one thing I did not get to see while I was in Europe was the I didn't go get to go inside the Louvre, mainly because you have to book. We learned that they changed their system too late, and instead of walk-ins, you have to book your tickets to go into the Louvre, and you can't just book last-minute tickets. You have to find a schedule to go in, and it's always packed, so it's kind of hard. So we just ended up for that day when we were supposed to go to the Louvre. We just ended up just staying outside of the Louvre and just like took pictures. That was funny. So I did not get to see the Mona Lisa, unfortunately. Would have been killer to actually see that. All right, take care. Have a safe drive. I want to be up for the next hour, if not three, another couple hours maybe. We'll see how long I can go. Either the sleep kicks in or I just get pure focused and I stay up like all night doing this. But to be in all seriousness, I'm trying to follow a proper schedule this time around. I wanted to fix my sleep schedule, my work schedule, because I've like there were times where I questioned like, don't I have a lot of time? What am I doing with my time each day? So I kind of did a whole graph and everything and just like see where my time is going. And I found out I had a lot of free time, but I spent that free time doing other things when I should be doing uh sorry, spent most of the time doing not really doing much when I could be doing a lot of other things. So went and fixed that. So now I'm stuck on I'm trying to discipline myself onto a routine where that works for me, where I get my exercise daily, I get my sleep, and I when I'm at work, I'm a bit more productive. So it gives a lot of explanation as to why lately on people's streams I don't chat much anymore. I do lurk, but I don't chat much because I am trying to become better at doing my job and learn more. Alright. I've been really enjoying dude, bro. Just wait till they drop the update. Like they revamp a lot of systems. You should like look up the videos, the dev videos, and see the changes that are coming. Like if you already like it now, wait till they change up the game in the upcoming like big update that they're planning. That's why I've been holding off from playing Enshrouded. Like I could be playing right now or be playing on my Secret Sunday streams. I decided, nah, we'll wait. There's always the chance to improve, so I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be patient. I've got time, so I've got other games to occupy my time in the meantime. Time. So I'm not in a hurry to enjoy a game when it's not at its peak yet. So I feel like Enshrouded will hit its new peak soon. I look forward to that update. trying to get rid of some red paint that got all over the model. I was trying to be careful. Right. I think I will revisit this model because it's much too wet for me to work on it at the moment. It's too much. Anyways, most of it's already done, so just put that down. Next one. So see, my unsteady hands are starting to shake because especially when like how my hands were positioned, I was having a hard time. So my hands were shaking and I managed to get some paint on the wrong spot there. I will clean that up in just a moment while the paint is still wet. So there are times where it's kind of difficult to get to these hard to reach places, especially with the way the model is posed. So sometimes you just need to ignore some of that. You don't have to get every single thing. So just gotta carefully scrape off some of that excess. Same over here. So luckily, when you're working with acrylic paint, as long as the paint is still moist, so even if you make a mistake, you can easily just correct it if you just grab a clean brush or you clean the brush that you're currently using and you just go over it again. Just simply smudge off that mistake or that little accident that you have. It's really no issue. Again, with any skill, it's okay to make mistakes. Just need to learn from them. And what I learned is that while paint is wet, you can still make corrections. It's only when it's dry then you're going to have a bit of a problem. And from that point, it's one of two things. Either you attempt to scrape off that mistake, quote unquote mistake, or which can end very, very badly for you, or you just paint over it. The worst that'll do to you to your model is simply add a layer of paint that was unintended. So you have to be careful with that. That's the only time that you have to be really extra careful is when you're adding another layer of paint. Because if you make too many mistakes, the layers of paint start to pile up and it starts making unnecessary bulges on the model. It might even cover up some important details as well. So gotta be careful. The worst that you're gonna have do is probably do a whole the whole process of like scraping, getting rid of all the paint all at once, like everything. You have to clean the whole model and do it all over again. That is only possible with, well, with acrylics. You got to use alcohol for that. Preferably, you can do it with 70%. You just need to leave the model in a pool of alcohol for like, say, uh, uh, less than a minute, maybe 30 seconds, and then pull it out and then just slowly brush it off with a toothbrush or something like that. Well, at least that's what I did for some of the models that I did not particularly like the paint job. So I went and did a do over by just cleansing the paint completely off. Was not an easy process, I can tell you that, but was worth it in the end so I could make corrections to the models that I was painting. In fact, I was even tempted to redo my Captain Titus model. But I had already based it and everything, and the last thing I wanted to do was just completely redo my whole work there. So it is both a testament to my good work as well as my mistakes. So, lesson learned. A lot of lessons learned with that model. And as long as people say it's like, oh, dude, it looks pretty good. All right, cool. In your eyes, it looks pretty good. In my eyes, it's a mistake. Getting so into it that it's like, oh no, I didn't check on chat no bit. So concentrated right now. Mm. Wow, got 3 colors down in the span of what? 2 hours? Nice. Uh, okay. Now, what part do I want to work on next? Yeah, let's start with the silver parts. I believe those are going to be the more challenging ones. Nope. Yes. Is this still even alive? Yes, it is. Oh, I can't believe I still have some lead belcher left. Now, normally I don't use this one because it's a gunmetal color. But if we mix in a little bit of blue, we get a nice silvery effect. But I need a brighter blue. Use this one. Shall experiment. We're doing some mad scientist work today. See if we can get a little bit of these two colors together. Then we get a little bit of silver. Fascinating color. Hmm. Ah, it's too wet. My brush is too wet. Erase first. And try again. Anyways, if we don't like it, you can just paint over it afterwards. Yeah, it's too wet. I'm looking for this solid consistency. Hmm. Might be a little too blue, maybe? Let's try a different color. I'll come back to that one later. Let's try this palladium white gold. Now, this one is going to be a tough one. It's been a while since I used this color, so it's gonna take a bit to mix the thing. Because all of the, you can see all that metallic there sitting on the bottom of the bottle. Not great. Maybe not that one. Where's my? There it is. Mm, yeah, it's a shade that I don't quite like actually, but we'll try it for now on this model. Okay, so let's try the other color that I wanted to try again. We'll do it on one of these ones. Okay. All right. Chat, I'm gonna need your opinion on this. I don't know who's still watching or actively watching, but I need you to take a nice close look at these two, right? So the one on the right has the palladium white gold. The one on the left has the blue mixed with gunmetal. Which do you think would stand out better as the decorative like color for most of the right? Because I feel like the white gold stands out more than the pseudo silver that we tried to achieve. Because the problem with the pseudo silver, it's like the thing about this one, it's too close to the white, so it blends. But this one, it kind of stands out more. And like on second glance, it's like it's closer to the silver than I thought it would be. So palladium, the palladium one is better looking because that is going to be our like go-to color for the remaining of the trims that we're going to be doing. Yeah. So that's what we will be using for the rest of these models. So I'm going to redo the this one, make it palladium. Yeah, it does stand out more. The palladium, whoop, the palladium stands out way better. Hmm. Something's wrong with this brush. May have to make it go under a brush shaper later after this. Okay. I'm satisfied with how the palladium is coming out. Wanna do a bit more here just to hit the cooling rods here. Oh, okay. My bad. Didn't realize the camera was covering the model there. Right. We're gonna need more palladium. Okay, the palladium flew. Took it too hard. Oh my goodness. Bro, I thought I thought I'm gonna have to use a lure pot, man. Like I wish someone clipped that and just like you just watch that this thing just fly out right out of my hand. Yeah, you could do that on the tubes. Oh, thanks. Dude, Palladium was the right call. Look at that. I can't wait to just get to the candles and stuff because those will be colored as well. I will try to put a little like effect on them. It'll be a little hard to make them have a lot that lighting effect, but I'll give it the good old hard try. So see how that goes. Maybe I should color the hilt too. I should go after the hilt too. Let's make that silver too. I was thinking of making the weapons like some of it's like gold. I think the relic will definitely be in gold. The sensor and the reliquary. These will be in gold for sure. This one, interestingly enough, I was thinking I was gonna go for gold, but after seeing this, I think I want to see what happens when I do it entirely in the palladium. So let's just wrap up on this one. Okay, we'll move on to the next. No, not the sensor. This one. We'll do weapons another time. Anyways, we already know what color we want, so Yeah, Vas, that's because YouTube, right? YouTube, unfortunately, doesn't like it when I play music that's copyrighted. So what I've done is I made sure that the YouTube recording does not you get the audio of my music, but Twitch does. Because Twitch is okay when I stream live music. As long as I'm not like putting it in VODs or anything, then it's fine. But if YouTube was the one, then YouTube don't like. So YouTube block me. So YouTube get no noise. Okay? You know what? We'll do this later. A little later. Because I have a plan. E plan. Okay. We need brown, actually. I don't use leather brown. Which brown do I need? I think still Legion Drab do. All right, man. Thank appreciate it. So when you do watch my stream using the VOD, to anyone who's probably wondering, it's like, it's so quiet, dude. Why can't you put on music on the tubes? Copyright. So when you watch my VOD on YouTube, please do have a Spotify playlist ready that you can listen to while I do my thing. Unfortunately, you guys will not be able to hear what I'm hearing unless you're on Twitch. Yeah, that's better. Having the brown first as our initial layer will be great once we start putting in the gold and everything. We'll get to that later. I wanted to get to the Inquisition icon here. We did this one already. Yeah, why not? Listening to this soundtrack right now reminds me, like, for those of you who are like unfamiliar with Warhammer lore and stuff, I this soundtrack in particular is from a fan adaptation of the book called Hell's Reach. If you get the chance, find that video on YouTube and watch it. That that book is what men cry to. It makes men cry. A lot of actually there's even a lot of women that actually watch that animation and they cry, dude, at the end of the thing after watching it. And it's what got them into Warhammer 2, which is crazy. So, highly recommend that. If it can make anyone cry, it's something worth watching, I think, because it invokes that emotion, the emotional factor. Right. Do a few more before we wrap up for stream. It's getting late. It's already 10:30. Yeah, 10:34. Let's wrap up. We will do a few more and then we will go. Yeah, I was just saying we're wrapping up for stream. Just to do a few more. Already made a lot of progress anyway. Now we'll quickly run through all of these as we get prepared the gold bits. Nah. Yeah, now it's a good time to actually get into a playtest, dude, because they've just released the new edition. So there's the new rules and everything. So now is a good time to get into the game when they just released the new rules. Yeah, Space Marine is a lot easier. I think the only other faction I know that's a little easier to paint is maybe Tau or basically anything that has like a lot of surface and not a lot of details to paint. The only reason why Tao gets a bad rep was because back in 10th edition, they were overpowered because they can shoot across the board. So at turn one, you could eliminate a lot of people's units in turn one. So it's why they changed up in 11th edition, and now there is such a thing as fog of war. So now you don't get to just blast people turn one. These people get a fighting chance. Hey, you know that model you spent like 3 weeks or if not months painting? Yeah, I'm gonna destroy it turn one. Sorry, dude. Ow. No, no, no. Basically, how Fog of War works is that you can't see any units beyond 15 inches unless they've fired first. So units are concealed until they open fire. Okay, so we made significant progress on our models, I believe. I think I just want to do a last few details here and there. Okay. Okay. This. All right. That is it for tonight. Tomorrow we will continue and we can now progress towards doing the finer details on the armors, and then I think the weapons will be the last thing I paint as the final touch of the models. They're like the final thing to paint because they're probably the most difficult ones. But till then, that's it for me. Everyone, I hope you've enjoyed. Actually, let's have a bit of a look see at some of these models and how they doing. It's like so much progress from the last one. What do you think? Like in comparison to the photo, right? Maybe the photo is a little bit more reddish in tone because of the background and stuff for the photo. But I definitely like where my white has gone. A bit more, really much more brighter on that side. And then we got the nice palladium trim. Here's the superior. The Abjurer. Oh man, the Abjurer looks so good already. I'm so excited to get these things on the board already. Here's the Denuncia. Sensor. The Mortis Sanctus. The Cremator. And one of the Warriors. Alright. So, for those of you on YouTube, thanks for joining this evening. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so that you can tune in on the next one as we go deeper into the details and everything. And for all of you on Twitch, if you were just viewing here, please hit that follow. Appreciate the support and everything. So we were at it for for almost 4 hours. So that's been, I believe someone asked, it's like if I was gonna be streaming long. Yeah, it's pretty long. 4 hours was pretty long and made so much progress. So with that, till the next stream, this is Magus signing off.